Hello my dear students, I am here with the second problem on the flexible budget. Before we begin the class today, let us take a blessings of Lord Hayagriva and Saraswati. Gnananandamayam devam nirmala spatikakrutim adharam sarvavidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe namaste Sharadha Devi Kashmira Puravasini vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada. The god of knowledge, Lord Hayagriva, and the god of wisdom and knowledge, Lord Saraswati Mata. By taking their blessings, let us start with today's class. And I also request on behalf of all my viewer students, let them both bless you with a good knowledge, health and wisdom and success in your life. Thank you. So now let us start our second problem today on flexible budget, and I'll explain the problem now. So the expenses for the production of 5000 units in a factory are given below. So what does it mean here is the production capacity of a 5000 units in a factory are given with the following expenses. So we have material, labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead, administration overhead, selling expenses, distribution expenses and total cost. So whatever expenditure that is given here, it is given for 5000 units. Now at the end they have asked you to prepare the flexible budget if the production units are 7000 units. So now let us try to prepare the budget here, flexible budget for 5000 units and 7000 units. Okay, so 5000 units per unit cost, total cost and variable cost 7000 units and per unit cost. Now do you remember something what I told in the last class? So before that I will also prepare you the note here. So in the case of variable cost, what remains constant? Cost per unit remains constant. So keep this in mind. It is like a secret code. Then in the case of fixed cost, total cost remains constant. This is what we wanted to analyze here. And now material is a variable cost because not given with any segregation. Even labor is a variable cost. Variable overhead, by name itself we can determine it is a variable cost. And fixed overhead, as it is a fixed overhead, this will be a fixed cost, no doubt in that. Now administration overhead 5% is variable. Now we have a sub classification here. So 5% is, I think it is a variable one, right? 5% is variable. So if 5% is variable cost, then remaining 95% will be your fixed cost, no doubt in that. Then if we have selling expenses is 20% fixed. So if it is 20% is fixed, then automatically 80% will be variable cost here. Then here it is 10% fixed. So if 10% is fixed cost, then 90% will be your variable cost. Keep this in mind. If you want, I can just revise this again. 10%, 5% is variable, remaining 95% automatically becomes fixed. If 20% is fixed, then 80% becomes variable. If 10% is fixed, then 90% becomes variable. So let us, without wasting a time, we will start the class. So we will start the class by remembering Shri Hari and Krishna. Okay, now we will start the class, students. So we will start with this. Now what is the thing that we can start with? Material. What is material cost? I think it is variable cost. In the case of variable cost, what remains constant? Cost per unit remains constant. So first I will write here material 50 rupees. I think it comes up to 2,50,000 and 3,50,000. Then in the case of labor also 20 rupees is a variable cost. So what I will do here is I will write down heading as labor and I will write 20 rupees. What is 20 into 5,000 units will be 1 lakh. 20 into 7,000 units will be 1,40,000. Next, we have variable overhead. So this should not be a confusion at all, because word itself is saying it is variable overhead. So what is variable overhead is around 15 rupees. So in the case of variable overhead, what remains constant? Please keep this in mind, cost per unit. This is cost per unit column, so this will always remains constant. So 15 into it will be 75,000. 15 into 7,000 units will be around 1 lakh 5,000. Next we have fixed overhead. So you already know what you have to do. Fixed overhead, total cost remains constant. Total cost is already given as 50,000, so I will write it as 50,000. 50,000 divided by 5,000 units will be giving you 10,000. But in the case of fixed cost, total cost will remain constant. 50,000 divided by 7,000 units. What should be the total cost per unit? 50,000 divided by 7,000 unit, that is 7.14, will remains constant. Then we have administration overhead. In administration overhead 5%. So now firstly let me write the overhead. Administration overhead, I will underline it. Now be very careful, 5% is variable. What is total administration overhead cost? Is around 10 rupees, right? Okay, this is 10 rupees. Now out of this we have a segregation, so we will write it as like this, 5%. So this is variable cost and this is fixed cost, which I am writing up here. So now variable cost equals 10 rupees into 5 divided by 100. So 10 into 5 divided by 100 is 0.5, and 10 rupees into, I think now rest of the 95% will be around fixed cost. 10 into 95 divided by 100, that is 9.5, will be your fixed cost. So did you get it? So 10 rupees is your total cost. Out of that 5% is variable, that is 10 into 5 divided by 100. Then 95% is variable, remaining 95% should be fixed. So 10 into 95 divided by 100. So in the case of variable cost, what did I tell? Cost per unit will remain constant, 0.5 and 0.5. So how do we write it? 0.5 into 5,000 units is 2,500, and 0.5 into 7,000 units is 3,500. Now what in the case of fixed cost, what remains constant, dear students? Total cost will remain constant, that is 9.5 into 5,000 units, 47,500. As I've already told, in the case of fixed cost, what remains constant? Total cost will remain constant. So 4,700 divided by 7,000 units, it is 6.78 rupees. Now what is your next cost? Selling expenses, 6 rupees. 20% is fixed and 80% will become variable. So I will write here selling expenses. I will write fixed cost and variable cost. What is total of selling expenses? 6 rupees. It is 6 rupees. So I will write it like this. So what is fixed? 20% is fixed, right? So what I will do is 20% is fixed. So that is 6 into 20 divided by 100. Then 6 into 80 divided by 100. So 6 into 20 divided by 100 will be around 1.2 rupees. Then 6 into 80 divided by 100 will be 4.8 rupees. So in the case of variable cost, what remains constant? Cost per unit. Remember, cost per unit is 4.8. 4.8. So what is 4.8 into 5,000 units? 24,000. 4.8 into 7,000 units, 33,600. Okay, it's not working. I'll write it with this pen. 33,600 600 rupees. Okay, now what in the case of this, what remains constant? Total cost will remains constant. 1.2 into 2 into 5000 units. 1.2 into 5000, 6000. This 6000 will remain constant because it is fixed cost. Total cost remains constant. 6000 divided by 7000 units, that is 0.85. Now next what do we have is distribution expenses. 10%, 5 rupees is the total cost, 10% is fixed, mean the other 90% will be variable. So I will write this now. Distribution expenses, what was the total cost? 5 rupees. Now out of this I will segregate it into fixed cost and variable cost. So fixed cost, 10% is fixed, so that is 5 into 10 divided by 100, then 5 into 10 under 90 divided by 100. So 5 into 10 divided by 100, 10 divided by 100 is 0.5 rupees. Then 5 into 90 divided by 100 is 4.5 rupees. So here I will write it as, say for example, this is my variable cost, what remains constant? Cost per unit column 4.5, 4.5. So 4.5 into 5000 units will be 22,500. 4.5 into 7,000 units, 31,500. Now in the case of fixed cost, my total cost 0.5 into 5,000 units, 2,500. Now 0.5 into 2,500. So this 2,500 will remain constant because it is fixed cost. Total cost will remain constant. So 2,500 divided by 7,000 units, per unit cost is 0.35. Now with this we have completed the entire problem. Now we will try to identify what is the total cost of sales. Total cost of sales, this when total together will come up to 116. So 116 into 5,000 units will be 5,80,000. Now this will come up to 50 plus 20 plus 15 plus 7.14 plus 0.5 plus 6.78 plus 0.85 plus 4.8 plus 0.35 plus 4.5, it comes up to 109.92, and total cost will be 7,69,600. So this is the entire problem which can come for your examinations as well. So as usual, thank you students for watching.